Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Woof indeed, and welcome to the year 2018. Wolfie, welcome to the future. Woof, so excited. But yeah, welcome back to Farlands or Bust. This is episode 670. I had to consult. I had to consult my my notepad. This is episode 670 of the series. As we are continuing to the far lands, today, Saturday, January 6th. Oh, I thought I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's how that math works there, Kurt. All right. Saturday, January 6th, 2018. 2018. So we do that. And I do this, and one of these. Boop, 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 boop. I'm bad at crafting things. Shh, shh. And let's actually put this sign up here. I fell. Bloink. Flob. Whoops, gotta do the capitals right. Flob number 670. The first of 2018. I'm sick. Kurt. Oh! Kurt. There we go. Why does it say I'm sick? It's because I'm sick. I got a cold. You know what else I need to do? I need some more head protection here, so might as well swap it out while I got the chance. Yeah. And get lost. You're no longer wanted. But let's continue on to these far lands. It's fine. This is exactly how you're supposed to break a workbench with a bow. Just remember to change out of it when you go to get your wolf. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust. 670 episodes. The last episode we recorded, we recapped the video games we played in 2017. This episode I'm kind of doing, again, off the cuff. Recording before a live Twitch audience, once again. It's becoming a bit of a common thread. But I feel like maybe recapping 2017 from a personal perspective a bit, as some things happened in 2017 for me, but also the world. So we might be doing a bit of that, but not before I mention that I will be present and accounted for at PAX South, which is next weekend. Just a week away. January 12th through the 14th. Is that right? Or did I get that off by one number? Regardless, next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is PAX South in San Antone, Texas. And from what I understand, and completely independent of my own organization, a pretty healthy representation of Farlanders and Subtubbers are also going to be attending, as is, once again, our friend Cone Dodger. As well as other friends I'm sure we'll be able to see there. I'm at last count, I think HC Justin is also going. I haven't heard anything new about that from him, but whoa, hello, hi, how you doing? But yeah, should be a good time indeed. Hanging out with that crew again. It's a very relaxed, laid-back PAX. The tickets haven't even sold out. We'll probably be scheduling some sort of meetup at that Octagon fountain that's across the street from the convention center like we have in the past as well. Stay tuned for that on the Twitters and stuff. But really, gonna be taking it really... Oh, I'm sick! I'm gonna be taking it really easy the whole weekend, really. Oh, hello. Interesting. Let's go this way. This little archway seemed a little bit more interesting than Death by Skeleton and Creeper. So yeah, just follow me on Twitch. I was hoping to actually get this episode up and recorded, and then the next episode, along with the new charity widgets and donations and announcement, up in the following episode before then. But then I got sick. Brand new year, and I got sick on like January 2nd. I started feeling, and I'm like, ah, nuts. Just a cold, and an annoyingly mild one. I have deemed it at that. So I've been away for the last few days and dealing with it, taking care of myself, eating lots of soup and teas, various herbal teas and stuff like that. Taking it easy. Still walking Juno, which may or may not be good or bad for the cold, but still taking the dog out for a walk. But yeah, that's kind of put the schedule back a little bit. Let's get some more torches here. Ooh, and wooden planks. Which happened to come from these trees. Maybe not that tree, though. Maybe not that tree. I was about to jump up on top of it and dig down. Maybe not the tree that's dangerously close to liquid hot magma. But, yeah, so a little bit of a delay there. I was hoping to have that up, like I was trying to say, before leaving for PAX. So then, while I'm away at PAX, we could have the charity up and going. Whoop, get out of here. But it doesn't look like that's gonna happen, unfortunately. But that's all right. That's all right. We've got plenty of time in this Far Lands or Bust expedition to announce those things. And I know, just based on past experience with the Farlander community, we'll work towards helping out non-profit charity and the causes they support through the journey of Far Lands or Bust, and then of course that reinitializes. Engage the thrusters. It reinitializes the once we reach the donation goal is when I will once again press F3 and hold a Flobathon live stream thing. At the end of which I press F3 to find out how long we've walked. We just sort of, not really recently pressed it to find the F3 point, where it was 314 blah 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 blah. But that's the last time we pressed it, and it'll still maintain Season 7 as well. I'm not going to start Season 8 and say that's where the charity starts. It's still going to be Season 7. This is like Season 7.5, or, you know, we're just going to continue it with Season 7, since it's been, like I mentioned, a little bit sporadic anyway. But hopefully with the charity, we'll have increased enthusiasm and renewed vigor towards walking to the Far Lands. Maybe don't announce $60,000 as the charity goal again. All right, I was thinking $70,000 for, you know, Season 7, but I guess you're right, huh? Oh, boy. Yeah. The new year has begun. Welcome. Like I said, to the future. I didn't do anything for New Year's. Stayed at home. Apparently I was incubating a sickness. And I streamed a bit, didn't I? I did Busto Radio. Oh, we had a fun Busto Radio. We traveled through the interdimensional space of the Sunship's place for midnight, and then came back for my personal midnight and played some PUBG with Cone. So yeah, and then it was the next day that I started feeling sick. Good times. Probably got it from traveling, maybe from being at home for Christmas, but yeah, it is the new year indeed. It is the new year indeed, and 2017, there's a lot to be said for. A lot of people were saying it was really bad, and it certainly was for a lot of people, a lot of countries, a few countries I can think of right off the top of my head. And we're just working on 2018 now. We're working on 2018, as am I. It was, I will say, it was a good year for me, even though the first half of it didn't seem so good, or was very up in the air. I mean, as you know, or as you might not know, honestly, beginning of the year, I started the year living in Phoenix, Arizona. And then in March, decided to move up here to the Seattle, Washington area, which was a heck of a thing. It was a heck of a thing. And if you were following me on Twitter during that moment, that month-long moment, had some internal struggles with it, which certainly not unusual for such a big decision, but also not great for my own self, I suppose. Still not 100% up to talking about all the details surrounding that decision and what happened and etc. But maybe share a little bit behind the scenes. Perhaps if anybody else is going through something similar, that should help. So let's do that. Let's get on with these positive, uplifting topics about the year of 2017 in the morning. And awakeness. Trying to think of something interesting or funny to say, but awakeness. Awakeness works. And awakeness works. But yeah. Those of you who've been around since 2011, since I started this, know that I was born in and grew up in the Chicagoland area, the burbs of Chicago, which is a lot of space to say. But yeah, grew up there. Ended up, what was it? About the third year I was doing this. Moved to Phoenix, Arizona, and yeah, lived there for 2 years. I really liked Phoenix. I still like Phoenix. Honestly, the summers not as horrible, and I kind of miss the weather now that it's 7 hours of daylight and 40 degrees and raining here, and even more so when I returned back home to Chicago. I'm like, okay, I kind of understand the Phoenix decision. The bitter, bitter cold that Chicago is under during the summer, or the winter, excuse me. And yeah, Arizona is great. It's kind of, depending on where you're at, it is a very, what do I want to say? I almost want to say like new city. It's like if you like your city layout to make sense and be grid-based system, wide open highways, ample parking, then Phoenix is certainly the city for you. A lot of nice little downtown and town areas with surprisingly very good food and restaurants. A lot of the sort of things you'd think you'd only see in like a big city like Chicago or LA. And I assume a lot of these restaurateurs came from LA. A lot of people came from Chicago. They're opening up a second Lou Malnati's location in the Phoenix area. I never went to the first one before I moved. A lot of people from the Midwest, Chicagoland area, the Great Lakes area down there in Phoenix. But yeah, really liked it. But it didn't work out with the long-term relationship I was in down there. My own doing. So I don't need any what's the word I'm looking for, sorrow directed in my way. It was very tough and took pretty much the whole 2016. If we want to recap a turbulent year, that was 2016 for myself and a lot of people. But yeah, 2017 started out with, okay, what's next? Now what? Sort of in the back of my head. I could certainly hang around Phoenix, even though I have nobody, no family, no friends, really. Ko was down there, and we hung out with Ko during his 1,000 stream a day, 1,000 day, 1,000, remember? Remember that? We played Risk with Good, which was just a delight. But yeah, it was a pretty big question. It started to really impact my moods, my anxiety, these internal things that I've been hanging on to for a long time, and I've talked about before, whether or not it be related to the being an introvert and shy and phone anxieties and whatnot. But also, there's as is usually the case, if somebody has anxiety, it's always tends to be accompanied by depression or another, bad self-esteem sort of stuff. So yeah, I was just having a really hard time of deciding what to do. Find somewhere else. Seattle seemed like a good somewhere else because there were more people that I knew up here. Certainly more of the same industry up here. Or I could head back to Chicago, be near family. Wasn't really, the basically, not to scoff at it, but the only thing that would bring me back there would be family. Not particularly a fan of, there's no hiking or mountains or, anything like that. The main thing that Chicago and North Illinois has going for it is the city of Chicago, which has grown on me now that I've lived away from it for a while, which is kind of an interesting thing to observe, right? But yeah, I've been thinking about it since the end of 2016, Seattle. I actually came here, I don't even know if I mentioned this so many times, but I came here 3 times for like weekends at a time to look at neighborhoods and view rentals. The first few times I'm like, these are nice places, but I don't need to do this now. I can kind of wait and let my life kind of settle, the dust settle. I don't need to do this now. Seattle will still be here. I might change my mind, or I might end up making friends in Phoenix or XYZ or whatever. But it just kind of, I guess I got struck it's hard to explain. I don't want to call it like a obsessive compulsive thing, but it was almost a compulsive decision. I'm not sure what spurred it. It was partly last year's PAX South, actually. Being around a bunch of people that I enjoyed and friends, and a lot of people who actually, the PAX community is based around Seattle. Where I'm just like, nope, screw it, I'm gonna do it. Just do it. There's no time like the present. There's nothing holding me back, etc., etc. So I visited for the 3rd time, found a place, signed a lease, or whatever, put down a deposit for an intent to rent, and then put my notice in at the place in Arizona, and once everything was set in stone was when the dread set in and the anxiety, and that was that whole month leading up to the actual move. I would take feeling like I currently feel with the cold over feeling like that ever again. Which anybody whoever has, a lot of people have anxiety. Most people should have anxiety. It's just a fear mechanism. But yeah, it was really bad. It was pretty bad, my friends. And I probably shouldn't have, but I made some cryptic tweets where I'm like, I can't do this. Like, people, the kind thing, and I appreciated all the words, but a lot of people are like, oh, you can do this. We believe in you. It's the best thing. It's a really good idea. Now's the right time. You can do it. And my brain was telling me, what if I can't? Like, not like, oh, what if I make a mistake, or what if this happens? Like, what if I literally break down and I totally screw up and just cancel everything and just hide in the bathroom? Literally, what if I can't, to extreme degrees that even now I don't really want to talk about. But yeah, there were just times when packing up things. Ooh, look at this place. Into boxes, I had to put everything down and walk away and just hide for a bit, just because the anxiety became physically overwhelming. up until the time I was moving, I stopped eating. And when I did eat, it didn't stay down. Pretty much was unable to sleep. Again, those of you who experience anxiety, and like this being like the not normal, like not healthy anxiety, when you're trying to sleep, but your arm muscles are constantly tense and shaking, and like the skin on your skull is tense. It's really difficult to describe, but it is being somebody who I've actually, because I've experienced it, in college I wrote some papers on fear, the fear mechanisms in humans and mammals. It's an evolutionary trait. You know, your body has to react to try to protect itself from, out in the wild, being eaten by XYZ predator animal or avoiding this sort of disaster. Your body starts to literally shut down because it's trying to protect the core functions. So that's why you don't eat, because your digestive system starts shutting down because it wants to divert that energy to your muscles, and your heart and your brain and those important organs to keep you alert and aware of the next danger. You can't sleep because you're vulnerable when you sleep, so your body's like, no, sleeping for you. You gotta be awake and aware of these dangers. And the danger in this case is just the fear of the next, this big, gigantic, overwhelming move across the country. And one of the things I learned is I'm seeing all these messages in chat, and I do appreciate it. The overwhelming thing I learned from this is, while yes, I eventually did do it, and I succeeded in the move, I should not have done it alone. Both mostly literally. Like, I should have waited for a friend or family members. My dad has always helped me move in the past. I should have waited for them to be available to come down and actually help me. Being all by myself made it much more worse than it needed to be. But let's go to sleep. Just cheering everybody up today. Let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And awakeness. Oh, hello, Wolfie. You're in a tree. Have a treat. Unamused. All right. So yeah, it got really bad, and I certainly hope that if ever things get that bad for any of you, that you seek support, and even more. And I appreciate, once again, I appreciate all the support online, all the Farlanders and things, and friends, but actual in-person support, I think, helps a lot more. Seek out in-person support. If you are lucky enough to have family members nearby, or family members that you can trust to help you, that understand, friends, brothers, sisters, whatever it may be, get the in-person support. I was seeing a therapist at the time, but I have a weird relationship with therapists, in that I'm not always like truthful with them. It's a weird thing. You're in there for yourself to help yourself get better, but it's not a thing that I can often even convince myself to trust them, which is weird. And again, something I'm still working on. And yeah, but that's a whole nother story. That is a whole nother story for perhaps never. So yeah, I probably wasn't relaying to them that I was in such dire situations as I was. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm figuring it out. This is a good idea, right? So yeah. Man, just it really, all of that stress didn't go away I mean, it was right up to the point where I was loading up my final belongings in the Subaru. I started to panic about maybe I overloaded the Subaru because I had put so much weight in the back that I could notice it was like visibly lower in the back than it normally is. I'm like, oh, am I going to be able to do this drive with all the weight in the back? I'm going to like lose traction going over the mountains and going through California and stuff. What if it rains? Is this dangerous? Am I damaging my car? You know, like these sort of... The house was empty. The keys were turned in. And in the parking lot of the property management place, I was having this internal panic about these sort of things. But once I actually started driving, I guess I was disconnected from everything, and I was on my own on the road. I was mostly just nervous about somebody breaking into my car at night at a hotel parking lot and stealing all my stuff. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So yeah, it was a real turbulent beginning to 2017 for me. And I do feel like I kind of just barely made it. If I can skim over the unfortunate details of that specifically. But yeah, moved here, and it also took a while to figure out that this was the right choice to move here. I'm slowly figuring that out. It feels all right. More so in the last even 3 months than the previous. Whoop, punch the microphone. But yeah, I'm surprised. I got a note from my current landlord that, you know, the time, since I moved here in March, the time to renew my lease, is coming up. So I'm like, geez, I guess it's worked okay. Wolfie! Where did that even come from? Excuse me? But, hey, oh, that was a lot of damage. Did you get touched by a zombie? Is that a Lifetime movie? Boink. But, yeah. And a lot of it, and once again, should have done this sooner. Should have taken more proactive approach to this sooner. I mentioned that I started on an anti-anxiety, anti-depression medication with a doctor, and also saw psychiatrists and or a psychiatrist to get the medication, but also mental health care through to kind of correspond with that. But yeah, starting on the medication, it took a little bit. We started with Prozac, like I mentioned. Started with Xanax, actually, just as like an as-needed thing. I don't like taking that too much. Started with Prozac. It made me super duper tired and fatigued. I was very fatigued. So we switched to this, what I'm currently on, Effexor. It's a robot dinosaur, I imagine, to kind of manage those anxieties and whatnot. And certainly, I don't know. I can't say because it didn't happen. But I assume had I had these things under control with medication prior to the move, maybe, and assumingly, those chemicals in my brain wouldn't have freaked out and caused me to be paralyzed for that month, but greatly so for that week before the move. So yeah, it was a weird 2017, and of course, moving here, I felt, you know, I started to miss things about Arizona, the restaurants, the weather, etc. And, you know, not being familiar with a place. Where do I get my groceries? I can't find where to get my gluten-free stuff. I got the wrong driver's license because I'm a noob. You know, little things started to fall into place. Started to fall more, you know, it was also a bit back and forth with this work thing. YouTube has taken a turn and taken a back seat, and I've started, obviously, recording all these Far Lands of Bust episodes on Twitch. Started to stream more. So there was some, internal worry about like, oh, geez, I moved here, everything's a lot more expensive here, the rent, the food, the everything. What if suddenly YouTube disappears or my job disappears? But Twitch, and I mentioned before even starting to record, certainly December was very, very generous things through Twitch and Patreon, despite the Patreon wobblies there at the end. Worked out very well, and I'm very happy where I'm currently at, comfortable, if you will. And yeah, just getting used to things, kind of realizing that, like, oh, I moved down here for people. Oh, there's people and friends and people I've talked to and know in the Seattle area, and I've honestly, not like poo-pooing any of them, it's all mostly on me and my inability to reach out, but I've hung out more with people who have visited me from out of state, who have visited here in Seattle from out of state, than I have with the people who actually live, within a 20-minute drive of me. So that's kind of weird, and that's kind of just something, instead of getting depressed about, I've just kind of come to accept and being like, oh, okay, that's fine, whatever. But yeah, like, people came in for PAX West and hung out with them for a week after PAX West. I've had my sister visit. And a few other friends, but yeah, that I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing. I'm like, yeah, I kind of have hung out more with people who don't live here than the people who do actually live here. I really like the hiking around here, even though it's not completely possible during the winter. I'm not equipped, I suppose I should say. It's possible, but I'm not equipped for the winter. Just adopted this dog, Juno. On of all days, Carl Sagan's birthday, I adopted her, so that's now her birthday. That's Juno's birthday, and that's going very well. And looking forward to getting out and getting into the hiking and whatnot with Juno and things, and perhaps through that meeting groups of people, cattle dog people. Hiking dog people. I don't know. She's not much of a dog Juno's not much of a dog person. A dog's dog, definitely more of a person's person. But has Cone visited yet? Well, if you wonder what my agenda at PAX South is gonna be, oh man, gotta get Cone down, or up, I suppose, to the Pacific Northwest. Which also, I mean, Cone's kind of most recent Cone on the Road vlog was all about his changes that all kind of happened pretty suddenly there at the end of 2016 with him. I'll let you watch that video and find out from him, and then instead of me, speaking for him or paraphrasing. But yeah, it was 2016 was a year. 2016 was a year indeed. And then, of course, even above and beyond the personal things, there are national, global, political things, cultural things going on that are also good and bad in certain regards, that while we certainly want to take time and understand that self-care is a thing, also keep in mind what sort of impact we can have on the greater good and society, and making this world suck less. We are part of the department to reduce world suck. What is that? That is from something. Is that from like a blog or a podcast or something? That's somebody's catchphrase. I don't want to like steal it. Something to reduce world suck. Whose is that? Somebody let me know who that is. Is that Vlog Brothers? Yeah, that is Vlog Brothers. That's their like foundation or something. The foundation to reduce world suck. So yeah, if we're privileged enough to do that, hopefully we can continue doing that in 2018. Registering to vote, big year for voting, 2018, right? And make sure, perhaps, if you're unable, if you have problems registering, or perhaps you live in a place that is doing a mighty hard job to suppress your vote, reach out and get people's help. Make sure your voice can be heard. Amongst many other things, one of those things being the charity we're going to be supporting. I was all ready to announce it today, but the chat, blame the Twitch chat, told me not to announce it until I'm actually ready to start taking donations. But the charity I've selected for the remainder of Season 7 here for Far Lands or Busts is certainly out to reduce the world suck and increase the, I suppose, elevate the humanity. That's the word I was looking for, of the world and all that fun stuff. I'm trying to come up with words that wouldn't give it away, but yeah. I think this was an okay episode. Like I said, I had no notes through this. This was all off the cuff. I hope it made sense, and I hope if you have experienced, I hope nobody has experienced those sort of feelings I've experienced before moving here, but I know people do, and people feel even worse. By all means, reach out for help. I know I'm honestly pretty bad at that, other than like relaying my own experience. I have friends who go through similar things, and I can just like be there for them, but I'm honestly kind of bad with the advice department because I often don't follow it myself. But yeah, reach out to people you trust, seek that help, whether it be through the medical professions or psychological help, or just a therapist or whatever. Go get a massage. Go treat yourself to a massage, or ask somebody to buy you a massage because you deserve it. I've never been to a massage. I don't think I want people touching me. That's one of those anxieties that isn't going to go away with medication. But yeah, 2018. Let's go. This has been episode 670 of Far Lands or Busts. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. Hopefully I'll see you at PAX South. If I don't, I'll see you in the next episode. I've messed up this outro because that doesn't make sense. I'm about to say see you next time, but I just said see you next episode. And I will see you next time.